Give me a second. My alarm didn't go off. Starting a bit late. Okay. Where are my headphones? And we're back. So, where we left off was getting all of the remembrances. So that's nice. Also, I burned my wrist. So, that sucks. Can't open without breaking all of the chairs. Do we have any wilder? Nope. Whoa, that's actually really good. What the hell are the odds you get both of those on one relic? Alright. Oh wait. We're doing the remembrance. I'm here for the story. So... let's just start at the beginning with wilders, so we don't have to debate. In the realm of remembrance, relive the journeys of each character. Complete a journey to resolve the memory and return to the present. Alternatively, select postpone remembrance in the journal to pause and return to the present. Remembrances will also be postponed if the journey reaches a point where a change occurs in the present world. So this story is altering the timeline in real time, is what you're telling me? It's like the elevator joke that I always make. Wow.
Wilder, I have a boon to ask of you. Would it be possible for you to procure me a whetstone? I
Sure.
consider it my inviolable duty to keep everyone's armaments in tip-top shape. But I'm afraid there's very little life left in the stone I have here. You have a discerning eye, do you not? Would you be willing to hunt one down for me? Simply
Understood.
marvelous. I advise you to make your way to the mining tunnel. The underground passageways are sure to contain ore suitable for metalwork. There are whetstones to be found there.
Okay.
I'm certain.
Personal objectives. Nice. When reliving a journey in the realm of remembrance, goals to be achieved in the lands between are added as personal objectives. Commence expeditions from the realm of remembrances, and complete personal objectives to advance each character's journey. Only one personal objective can be completed per expedition, and only one player's personal objective will be added. That's kind of cool.
The underground passageways are sure there are
Let's do one of the most challenging bosses right at the start. Let's see if we can make it to the... Nope. I was trying to get to this guy. Game design's going good. My ass was fucking asleep. But I got a lot done. Trying to fix the mic. There it is. Shit. Ah, I missed. No. We all missed. It'd be easier to go that way around front. I think so, but I want to check this way. Oh no. This way's easier. Okay, we have a key. Wait. There we go. Hippo. After. What? Okay. Sure. I did terribly. Even though we didn't get down, I missed a lot. This is probably my favorite part of these camps. Fuck. Hmm. I think we should hit this up. Well, that was easy. Is there like a secret treasure up here? What the fuck? They just put these things everywhere, huh? Damn, wasted her ult. That sucks. Go this way. Hit the jump pad and just go straight there. Yep. This seems familiar. Alright. Fuck. We both just missed our ults. No one hit a fucking thing. Oh, I hit one person. Okay, this teammate has co-signed every single one of my pings. I'm happy. Wait. Ooh. Improved jump attack. Hey, look, if they don't want it, I'll take it. The hell? Where the fuck did he go? Thought he was right behind me. Why did he go the opposite direction? I have so many questions. I blamed myself until I saw where he was on the map. Then I was like, okay, fuck. Yoink. All right. All right. I got a fireball too. Yeet, what's up? Kami, how you doing? I didn't even know. Normally people aren't in chat this early, so how you doing, bud? Your boy's in it. And I just woke up from a nap. I set an alarm for an hour, and when I woke up, it was -1 hour, and the alarm wasn't going off. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why? How does an alarm count into the negatives and not go off? I had so many questions. I just was like, whatever. I started stream. I was like, it's conveniently 2 o'clock, which is my usual stream time. So I was like, I'm just gonna play. Wait. Charged sorceries. I actually have a key already. Actually, yeah. Oh, maybe he was going for the talisman. He was up here though when he died. He was just like facing this way. So many questions. I've been binging PC building videos. I'm like actually considered driving to Minnesota to hit up Micro Center. You still don't have your shit? I would sue. I would sue. They promised 4 business days and they're taking up 30 fucking business days. Is insane, brother. They estimated my ass. That's not even close. Their estimation is just a fucking false false promise at this point. What the fuck? Bruh. Please tell me you have your stuff. I'm about to get upset for you. Oh man, I do love building computers though. It's like big Legos. It's like big people Legos. The estimated 4 weeks and I'm off a civil case with compensation. Yeah, cause I was like, dude, that was 4 weeks ago. No. And they're saying it's not there yet. What the fuck? God damn it. I tried to evade. Vengeance is sweet though. Legos for adults, right? Isn't it straight up like... I don't know how else to describe it other than everything has like a very clear plug-in spot and then it has a satisfying click when it all goes together and goes in. It's just fucking adult Legos, except you're building a no, Legos literally have you building robots in some of the kits. Like as I was saying that, I was remembering, wait, that they actually have that. I need to hit here by going through this tree. I'm not doing that. Let's see. Okay. That poor guy. He did the thing that I say never do. He ran straight to one of the harder bosses. He's doing a pretty good amount of damage though. He's bludgeoning, which is her weakness. We gotta get Kami a computer set up. I need to do my quest. Nope. I don't know why it's not showing my quest marker in here. What the fuck? Did my game glitch out? Normally the quest objective's there and it just disappeared. There we go. Okay. I'm built different. Objective complete and also got the fucking teammates kill assist. Yep. Follow me. We're gonna head to this side. I watched this dude build an absolute art piece. Use the Noctua fans, the theme, custom wood framing, varnish, wiring, literally a chip design custom for everything. I was hypno-toaded. That sounds fucking amazing. Holy shit. My computer is beautiful just because it's got like RGB fans, and I had like it was on like years and years and years ago. So I trust this company. Actually not really, because I got the pieces. Why are people like this? They pinged this and yet they're not here. I'm already here. I trusted they'd be coming here, so I went to the ping. The fuck is wrong with people? Anyway. We have lightning speed now. I do love those kinds of videos where you're like building a computer in your mind as you watch them. There have been many instances, maybe you relate to this, throughout my time on this earth, where people are like, I need help with my computer. And then you go to help them and you're like, oh, you just had like one thing unplugged. Like, that actually happened. My brother was trying to like rebuild a computer so that my nephew could like use it. And they're like, we don't know what the problem is. I was like, oh, you just didn't plug in the power supply to the graphics card that you have the monitor plugged into, so this isn't really doing anything. Like, I was trying to explain. He did not just do that. What the fuck? It takes 30 seconds to go away. They're gonna be sitting there for a minute. Or half a minute, like guaranteed. Whoa. Okay, Al. One cable off, damn. Yeah, I really did. Actually, the reason I'm not even going to promote the computer company is because they did so much worse than like a cable off sort of thing. They mixed up like AMD with Intel processors. So like I had an AMD motherboard and they put an Intel processor because I guess they didn't have an AMD strong enough for what I ordered. So they literally just sent me a computer with incompatible parts. I was like, why the fuck would you even allow that as an option? It wasn't what I picked. I just picked a pre-built, and then they sent me a fucked up pre-built, so I had to go back and literally order pieces and get pieces from other people to rebuild my computer. So it's like a Frankenstein's monster. Look how long it took him to wait for the fucking totem to go away. I killed this boss. Like, actually, killed the fucking boss. But yeah, they sent like completely fucking incompatible parts. And I'm like, that is a rookie mistake. But also, how does a website allow you to make a rookie mistake like that? I guess maybe they think like, oh, people might want to order it and then replace the parts in another computer. So if I had like a Intel computer, nope, that's not where I wanted to dodge. That's whack. Total crap. You either read Team AMD or Intel Blue Squadron. Yeah. And it's like when you piece together the computer, it doesn't tell you like that. So I was wondering what the fuck is wrong with my computer that I just bought. It worked for a while, and then it stopped working as well, and I was like, something's going on with this thing. It's because the processor it was using the whole time wasn't fucking compatible. It's like, no wonder I was experiencing issues. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Just bad company management that creates bad faith as a brand. Yeah, I get it. It's like the quality assurance. To be fair though, it was good for years. Like, the last time I know someone ordered a PC from there, it lasted them a long time. Nothing lasts longer than a custom built computer. My last custom built, like, Frankenstein's monster, I had that shit since like elementary school. That's not even a joke. It was like when I transitioned from middle school, or from elementary school to middle school. So I was like literally like 6th grade, really young, got that computer, started to learn how to build them and stuff. No, these days it's just AMD, but I buy a ton of Intel stock. They cheap as dirt right now. What's up, XRP Moonwolf? How you doing? Or XRP Satu. And nobody wants them. You're kind of right, AMD. That's why I picked AMD and was upset that they gave me a fucking Intel processor. I'm like, who do you think I am? I wouldn't check this. No, also, how you doing? Hope all is well. But building computers, it's my one gripe with Apple, right? Is that they will, like, they got sued for it. It's not slander anymore, right? I can just say it outright because it was decided in a fucking court of law. They plan to make their technology worse so that you buy the new one faster. It's called planned obsolescence, or they plan for it to be obsolete so that you have to buy a new one, right? Planned obsolescence. It's shitty, and they got sued for doing it. That's why now Microsoft or Apple has to use the USB-C like everyone else instead of their own USB like they wanted to. So that's the kind of shit that's like, that gamers will decide, right? They know what works better. They're benchmarking their fucking games. They're comparing and contrasting the components of their computer. I made my PC like 5 years ago, rocking a 1440p, got 59,000X with 68 XT. Damn. I don't even know what my shit is. It's probably old as hell now. I remember when I got it though, I was so hyped. I was like, thank God. Well, it's kind of the same with graphics cards. Like, everyone waits for the super, everyone that I know that builds their own computer, they wait for like the GTX like super edition, because that like worked out all of the kinks, right, for all of the fucked up parts of the original release. So they'll like come out with like a brand new graphics card, the T2000. Like for fucking Terminator. They come out with the T2000, but then they come out with the T2000 Super. And the T2000 Super fixes all of the problems that the initial T2000 had. So everyone should just wait for the Super. That's another thing with a graphics card that happens a lot. God bless EU on that front. Yep, it happened in the EU, for anyone wondering. The EU actually regulated. Regulators! No, I'm just kidding. Ow. I deserve that. But you're right. Apparently, Steam review specs have noted a 5% shift from Intel to AMD systems. I'm using an AMD, so if I ever post my game development requirements, I know that it runs on an AMD. That's what I built it on, so I have to say AMD. So it's like, that's kind of what happens with all developers. They're just using AMD because they're better, so they've built the rigs that they use to build the games are AMD. So that's what they used to benchmark originally, and they know that's what gamers are going to use. So they're like, we did AMD processor, we have to say it works with AMD, right? At the launch. That's what they tested and built on. So it's like it's almost like a self-defeating prophecy on Intel. They thought they were too good and the top of the line, and then AMD came out, and now they're the top of the line. But Intel was just good enough that they don't have to innovate and change it up because everyone trusts them, so they buy. It's well-deserved, though, the shift. I need Intel to make a little comeback for big profit. Exactly, that's kind of what I'm saying there, too. Like, Intel should innovate, because then they'll make their money that they're now going to be losing to AMD taking over the market. So it's not like Intel is bad. They have the infrastructure, right? All of these big factories, and they can make like one change to their one factory that's making like processors at a higher regard when they make a breakthrough. So it's not like, oh, we could never make a better computer again. It's just they got lazy. So you're right that the thing they just need to do is decide, right, because of the shift, that they want to make better products, and then that will be a boost in their revenue, a boost in everyone's investment stocks. So that's what I would say. As a board member, I'd be like, you motherfuckers need to start innovating. You're losing to AMD. I'm not a board member, though. This is my hypothetical analysis as a customer game designer who understands how other customers would work. But I was already AMD when Intel was better. I just wanted more cores as a stupid kid. Yeah, and then it ended up working out. Like, now more cores is how everything works, because you make technology better the smaller you make it, because then it doesn't overheat as much, right? That's how they solved the overheating issue, was they made it smaller, a lot of processors and stuff. So, oh shit. So it ended, again, the AMD's, the reason I think they're so successful is because they kind of innovated. They didn't start off as good there, but then they changed up and made the multi-core processing, what they focused on, better than what Intel has right now. They just Intel shot themselves in the foot, but they're not out of the race. So investing in them, I wouldn't even say is a bad thing. I don't even invest. But it's not like oh my god, they got like escape rooms, right? No one's buying escape rooms because they were a novelty. And if you experienced it once and streamed it, there's no reason to go back, and all of your viewers wouldn't need to go through it, right? So because they spent millions of dollars making these escape rooms and no one is going to go in them a second time, you need to design for repeat customers. Intel is an actual industry of like computer parts itself. You can make an entire, not computer, but you can get all the important parts, Intel. They're not like Dell, right? Dell, you could get a whole computer. Intel sells the parts to Dell so that they can make their computers. And then stuff like that. 2027 factory overhaul, that's our final shot if it doesn't recover faster. That would, yeah. Isn't that factory being built in Ohio? Maybe they need maybe they need to import some tech nerds. Yeah, they need people like me and you who know exactly, like, when I'm programming my game, I'm not just worried about the engine. I know how graphic cards process things different than bottlenecked processors. So it's like, I try to make it so, like, when I'm rendering a bunch of, like, graphical components, right, like 3D models or, like, textures, I'm making sure that the calls are draw calls from the graphics card and optimized to shit. I'm making like a really big game, right? Solo. But I have to like follow, if you go to GDC talk and stuff, they explain how, this is why gamers are in the market and talking about this shit like us right now. Because I want to make a game, but it is related to how we play them, right? If you want to experience the game in full, like capacity, it's best to upgrade your system. Everyone knows that. So if you want to design a game that runs well, same thing. You have to know how it wells on You have to know how well it runs on that system. That's what I was saying. Like, I use an AMD processor, so when I release my game on Steam, I have to say AMD. It works on AMD, right? Because that's the only thing I can really guarantee. Double up. Hit them both. I'm crazy. Like, now I realize I'm talking to you guys while I'm also beating the shit out of the boss. Uh-oh. Looks like it broke its AI. What are you doing? Where's the magic man? Uh-oh. Me distracting the bug guy? Dude, we almost killed the boss. Actually. I'm so good at fighting the moth. I'm the Mothman. So now they're attacking the light. When it possesses this guy... Oh shit, it possessed him? That's weird. We doubled up on him. I've never seen that before. I probably will make a new system so I can boot my old PC to streaming process. I was thinking about using my old PC as a streaming computer, but I found a way that I can... My computer is good enough that I'm streaming OBS, right? I'm using OBS right now, streaming the game and being able to play it. Not everyone's computer is that good, but I mean... It really is just your software. That's why people get a second computer. I have like fucking 16 or 32 gigs of RAM or some crazy shit like that. Way more RAM than you would need for one software. So if you have the bandwidth... I was taking extra damage that whole time. What the fuck? But I was also dealing extra damage because I had a lightning sword and it was a lightning damage. Yes, Kami, make the best X86 chip ever. Now, and make Intel go ballistic from the Ohio factory. That would be pretty dope. And we got our story done. Oh my god. I think the story will be complete when they release the last half of the Everdark Sovereigns. When they release, like, the final phase version of Hollister. The night aspect. That's gonna be the true ending of the game. I bet. If it comes out, that's where the ending is hidden.
Oh, this will make repairing armaments much easier.
Repairing armaments? What about reinforcing them?
If anything strikes your fancy, consider...
Oh, is that why the remembrances can be done out of order? Delicate burning scene. So I take it from the armament and just a resting spot. An earring. The ornamentation seems to change with the intensity of the light.
Sorry, but that belongs to the priestess. Anything else? Oh, you merely wish to borrow it. Very well. But once you're finished, be certain to return it to her.
Okay. An earring with a restored pin.
Once you're finished,
I upgraded my brother's CPU a little time ago from 1600 to a 5600. God damn. He already had my old 66 XT, which for the first time in its life wasn't bottlenecked. Yeah. When you're like making your like here. I'm gonna pull up my specs. Not to flex, but just to show people how to do it. If you go to your file explorer. Oh. And then you go to this PC. I know it's not showing. And then my PC is so fucked. Then you click on, let me just make sure there's no personal information on this. Yeah, it gives you your desktops and names, so I can't show this, unfortunately. But I have a 64-bit 32 gigs. Here, let me pull it down a little bit. Maybe that'll help. 32 gigs, right? Intel 26 or 29, almost 3, but i7. New processor, need to ditch the 4 and 9. Yeah, I'm actually running on a really slow processor, but that's what I was saying. With like the graphics that you're processing aren't part of the processor's processing. The graphics, the perfect example here, a little fun Mythbusters video I'm gonna pull up. Mythbusters graphics cards. So this literally summarized the graphics card. This helped me program video games. So look, they're doing the one. So this is your processor drawing something in your graphics card, right? This is your processor drawing something on the graphics card. So it's trying to draw a smiley face, right? I think everyone has seen this, but I still want to do this for the live. So this is what it's like when your i7 is trying to draw something, regardless of how fast it is, right? It's drawing it one fucking pixel at a time. So let's set it up to now do what a graphics card does, right? Where they do all of the pixels at once. That's what a fucking graphics card does to draw, right? So if you allocate the processors to the right space, it will be so much easier on your graphics card and your processor. Exactly. So I love the Mythbusters, but I like that that's NVIDIA as well. That's not a bad CPU at all. You'd still be able to pair basically any GPU with it. Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't really need to replace it. i7 is fine, but that right there, that video shows you like the thing that you want, right? Like all of the image being drawn, right? The draw call. Let's up the graphics because I do this intentionally. There we go. I could play on like high. Right? I would have to restart the game, but I mean, look, we're streaming at 10K still, no lag. Computer's fine. So it's really about optimization. I play like this when I'm offline, but when I'm streaming, just setting it to low or medium makes it so like my computer isn't worried too much about how much it's processing. So it's like running it on cool mode, like it's cooled down. It's not gonna overheat. So I could stream for hours. Now I only stream for like 1 hour at a time though. I could probably stream on like ultra graphics because when it starts to overheat, I'm already ending stream, so I can end stream, say goodbye to everyone, you know, celebrate our victory, and then revert back to like, or just ending stream will help the processor. It's trying to both send the graphical information and the data through the internet to the streaming service, like YouTube or Twitch. So if you stream it on low graphics, it actually helps. If you're streaming and you set your computer to low graphics, that will help. I noticed that from experience. Earring time! With both earrings together, a depiction of wind is projected along with a short passage. Two horses gallop side by side. May the wind spur us on our path. It's easy if you think about like this entities and objects, NPCs, etc. Basically, objects are CPU, the visuals are GPU. Beautiful. That's exactly how I've been coding my game. So how I have it, right, is like all of these things, the breakables and all of the stuff that are graphics, it gets instanced, right? The instantiated data, the data of like these trees that I'm running through that have a sound effect, mesh terrain, right? It's all how I programmed it in my game is it generates with the terrain mesh underneath it, right? But the reason I do it like that is the draw calls for every single tree is now instanced through in Unity at least. Like the visuals are exactly as you describe it. All of the data is being processed through my scripts, right? That I attached separately on the manager to find the graphics and then put a mesh collider over it. So all of the graphics instancing happens on the GPU, but then the script finds the GPU instanced terrain part that is the tree, because it's its own little bit of data on the GPU, and then, or on the terrain data sheet. It finds that, and then it puts a collider there. So the physics are on the CPU, and the draw calls for all of the graphics are on the GPU. So I actually coded my game to do that exact thing, and I optimized it the fuck out of it. I made like a giant 1,000 by 1,000 meter. I should become a programmer. I know zero code. I know, right? But you're right. That's how. I mean, it's crazy that you're right without knowing code, but it like people explain it like Adam Savage and all the Mythbusters videos and shit and the GDC talks. They explain it so well that even I can understand is how it feels. And I'm like, same with you. I'm like, I didn't know shit about it. Ditto. Time to get to work. To Ohio. Yeah, exactly. You guys could do it. I believe in you. You know enough. You know more than the average man, right? That's the thing. Don't downplay your intelligence. Talking about fucking computer like processing powers and how it's done. That's crazy. But with the little knowledge that I do have, I'm in the remembrance. I fucked up. I just really, really, really love hardware. You should, if you're a game designer, a lot of them favor software, but when you learn how important it is to tie the hardware into the software to get a AAA game to run like it does, then you really get into game development. Like, I thought I was making games with learning how to code and learning how the engines work and designing the maps and stories, right? It wasn't until I was like, oh, how do I optimize this? And I had like the profiler open so that I could see what was running and taking the processes, and it was like the editor's processes. So I was like, oh, my game runs fine when it's built out. It's just harder on the editor to do all of the scripting shit that I did. So I have to like optimize for the engine so that I can make the interactions more common and stuff. Like, I'm making a very modular game. So if you know how modular pieces work in hardware, it's going to be compatible. Like, your brain knows what modularity is. What pieces can be swapped out, like a Lego set, right? You could just take a piece that it says to use that came with your set and use a different Lego sets piece that's exactly the same, and it'll fit exactly the fuck where it needs to, because it's modular, right? You could take pieces out and put other pieces in its place. And sometimes you can take out a piece to make a better piece fit, which is why, again, all the way full circle. That's why I like Intel, PC, Microsoft computers, right, with all of the minds working on them, modern day, because those are the people. Where are you guys going? I'm fucking running the opposite way. Where are we headed? Anyway, we should go this way. The hardware is a substance. I want us to start to build GPU with RAM chips to expand on. Make us use all the 1,000 watts for the primo CPUs. Or PCUs. No, yeah. Processing. I think I just was watching, like, as a programmer, I was looking at the Microsoft's supercomputer chip and the theoretical science behind it and how they want to make it with topology instead of binary. So, like, the reason it's shifting is the fucking ions are set up as the code. And it's like hard-coded into the physical. It's like reading Braille. They didn't explain it like this, but it's like reading Braille with ions. They set up the topology. If you know what topology is, it's like the surface of rendering. The read topology is how they get meshes, right? So the reason the points are holding all the textures in this spot is because of the topology. So they are going to use aka more power. Yeah, exactly. They're going to use the shape of the processor and constant changing of the shape to act as the binary states of the fucking processor's core and shit. So, like, it's coded into reality. There's almost no error. There's no room for ion error. Like, if a neutrino flies to that joke, right, about the Mario thing, the speedrunners, if a neutrino hits the fucking processor just at the right spot at the right time, right, it can cause a very particular glitch, that kind of system that they're talking about is almost immune to that, right? Now we need to go back to the GPUs like Vega 64 and being able to use RAM as VRAM. That's essentially what they're going to be doing with this processor, which when I was reading it, I was like, damn, that's a supercomputer. It's like using... They were like, the smaller we get, the less heat we have to account for. So what if we just make it ionic? What if we literally make it the size of a fucking ion? The smallest thing we can work with. I was like, you guys are fucking geniuses. Yeah, you're right, Satu. That is essentially what we're describing, but on an even smaller fucking scale. It's actually crazy. When I was hearing about it and hearing them explain it, I was like, oh, so we're just like in a sci-fi era now. We have space technology. Like, that's the kind of shit that, if they build it, will be in spaceships. Like, that's fucking nuts. And that is not just what is going to get us to space, like here in the world, but like they're gonna incorporate that kind of shit into. About time the 64 plus gigabytes put to use. Yeah, exactly. I have 32 gigs, and that's what I was saying. I have like, it's way less effective to have like 32 gigs of RAM, because it's like I can have my... That's why people were telling me to stream. I got this fucking monster of a computer to make video games, and even then I'm making like indie games that do not require that level of power, right? So I can stream games with this higher end computer. People who don't understand building computers might not realize that they have a computer that can stream games, and then they get a secondary streaming setup. Some people, it's back to the false viewership thing we were talking about. I'm sure other people set up a streamer computer just so they can have one viewer, or their bot set up. Like how I have my bot on my computer, right? The code, like the RPG bot I had set up. I have that bot in my computer while running OBS and the game. I just deleted that entire boss room. What the fuck? They're all gone. What the fuck was that? Anyway, I mean, are we even able to scale past like 1 nanometer? Like, won't we just have to deal with quantum physics at that? Yes, and what I'm describing is literally quantum physics. The qubits are quantum bits, right, with a supercomputer. I know that's... It almost gets like hypothetical bullshit because of like the way we view it as humans, but the fact that we are able to understand how processors work and are talking about that is like, that's the transfer. Before, when people wrote like these fantasy sci-fi stories and they didn't know exactly how crazy processors were, it was hypothetical, it was theoretical, it was cool, right? Theoretical physics. Now it's applicable physics. Now we're making things with that technology, or with that knowledge of technology, right? Time for quantum entangled Cortana. Cortana rewriting the code of the universe just to help me find out. Cortana, render an anime waifu, and then like she starts rendering it, but using the quantum mechanics of the universe. Your waifu is now ingrained in the very fabric of reality. What the fuck? It's instantiated on your computer, but it's like, that's the kind of theoretical quantum physics into computing that it's like, it sounds funny, but all those words actually have meaning in modern day technology, right? That's why it's like, it gets funny, but then it gets scary to like people who doubted science, because it's like, yeah, you can doubt as much as you want, but like the computers are coming, right? It's they're here, actually, which is even scarier. Trying to get Cortana to decide, trying to get my anime waifu AI assistant to decipher the fucking Fermi's paradox. I need you to understand dark matter so that I can program the existence into my game engine. And then it's just like, Itadakimasu. What if the observer effect never gets fixed? You look at quantum PC, if it doesn't work, you look away at You know that meme of like, I don't look at my computer, I pretend not to care about my game loading and then it loads faster. It's real. I have to ignore my anime waifu for her to actually do the process. Jesus Christ, we're fucked. Humanity's fucked. I'm joking right now, but we're getting there. They got us. The observation of the PC is the discontinuing factor unless you are quantum entangled. I am entangled. What is it? I exist in, for whom the bell tolls. No man is an island entire of itself, each is a part of the main. If a clod be washed away, Europe is the less, as if a promontory of thine own were, or of thine friends were. How the fuck did I remember that? That's for whom the bell tolls. What is it? I forgot the actual part that I wanted to reference. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. So do not send to ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. It's like literally that joke. I know that's insane, but it ties into that of like, oh dude, I'm tied to the entirety of mankind, so I'm quantum entangled. Like that, you have to get into a fucking metaphysical understanding of the universe. Hack proof, baby. No, it is kind of hack proof. That's kind of what they were saying with the retopology theory, instead of like a generic not quantum. Right now it's not quantum, right? The way that we have binary of like ones and zeros, it's not quantum computing. It's normal computing. As tiny as it is, it will always be a part of a structure. But when we get into quantum mechanics and the smaller, I'll grab that. Nah, they could keep it. Like physics-based shit with science and like the proven like difference between the qubits and quantum mechanics, what people currently program with, right? It's not hypothetical anymore in that regard. People program with qubits all the time. There's an open source fucking software that lets you program with qubits online to practice quantum computing using the instance inside of a real public domain supercomputer, which sounds like a bunch of fucking fantasy, sci-fi mumbo jumbo gobbledygook, but it's actually real. Everything I said is true. You can just look it up. It's an open source supercomputer. That's where you would start. And you would learn. Oh god, quantum spaghetti code has summoned the flying spaghetti monster. Quick, look at your neighbor's computer. Everybody look away. Everyone has to close their eyes with the spaghetti monster. Isn't that really just religion? You have to close your eyes, otherwise the spaghetti monster will get you. Ignore the truth. Nah, I'm just kidding. It really does, though, get to that point. If you look up here, I'll pull up the video so I don't. What I'm saying to people might sound like a bunch of fucking bullshit. So here, quantum computers qubit. This is a bit, right? Like you have kilobytes, kilobit, gigabytes, all of these. You have qubits, quantum bits, right? As fundamental units of information in a quantum computer. So that I already know that, right? That's what I'm going off of. So retopology processing is the new kind of sounds like using, yeah. Microsoft's Majorana 1 chip carves a new path for quantum computing. So the way that it works is quantum topology, which means it's working on the ionic bonds of that instance little material, right? Not instance, that literal material right there is instancing your, is instancing the data we're talking about. So it's like, I know it sounds like bullshit, but no, that all exists. It's scary, but to people who don't understand it, I'm sure I understand it. I'm excited for it. Like you said, we're just gonna get faster computers that get to make us game better, and because of the reduction of heat, there's probably a reduction of carbon emissions. So you're like saving the world by focusing on quantum computing as opposed to conventional computing, which has to have like a large heat exhaust, right? So that there is an exhaust, it is melting something, there is carbon getting melted into the air, right? The plastics, you are affecting the environment with any computing source. That's why like people talk about AI being shitty. If you can have like one quantum computer replace an entire like AI bank like ChatGPT, then the ethical question of like, oh well, it's fucking up the environment goes away, right? Because now it's not fucking up the environment. The ethical question of it being a corporate entity and controlled by them, like not like a conspiratorial method, but like you know that the corporate interest exists, right? The CEO is going to want to make their company money. That's not a conspiracy, that's just fucking logic. Unless you're a bad CEO in the eyes of capitalism, then you don't worry about money, but you might be worried about ethical things, which, you know, doesn't make you a bad CEO in my heart, but in terms of capitalism, you're a bad CEO. You're not worried about the line going up, which is what the whole thing is about to them. Not all of them, right? Generalizations are dangerous, so even got to afford sympathies and understanding to people I don't like and could never be. But maybe there's good CEOs. Maybe. Imagine living Dark Souls. Yeah, like a quantum computer's... This is the kind of shit we would get into, right? Like a, the processor eye tracking would be fast enough in a Oculus Rift to make the graphics line up with your eyes using eye tracking, so everything is perfectly parallaxed as it would be, not in relation to the camera, but to your cones in your eyes. So you would literally be able to see the digital world through the Oculus Rift. Not see a screen, but it would be calculating as if you are looking into that world, right? That sounds fucking insane, but that's like the only reason we're limited is the processes aren't that high in technology, right? I need me a damn brain chip, invasive brain MMO, let's go. Everyone's gonna want the MMOs until you get a pop-up ad. When you get your first brain chip pop-up ad, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna claw this thing out. There's always Solaire comment. Yeah, bro, I would be so cooked going into brain chip and just hearing pling pling plong, the fucking the Soul of Cinder song. No, I'm gonna be spending my time what is it? If my Elden Ring no leveling playthrough is to be, you know, the basis of my reality, I'm going to plow through the whole game, get to Melania, and spend a month getting my ass kicked by Melania. Though I do think other people will spend time in Melania's boss room with that technology for other reasons. You fucking gooners. No, I'm just joking. I mean, again, it's like the part of her design is that she is beautiful and that she gets naked because it's part of the story, but we all joke. Like, we all know. It is a big thing. I love these conversations about hypothetical quantum computing. Way better than fucking politics talk. Because we might be able to stumble on something that helps gaming, and therefore all of humanity after gaming. I prioritize gaming, but, you know, helping humanity save the world with something like a proto-Dyson sphere that goes on Earth to get the exhaust instead of worrying about the exhaust of the Earth or exhaust of the sun. You can call it a protosphere, right? Like that kind of hypothetical, a Dyson sphere for Earth. We just came up with it, right? That shit, no one's talked about that, but you would need that kind of quantum computing. You know how in a sleep state you can have a ton of information, long-ass feeling dream, and a short nap? I'd try maxing that and be nearby immortal, right? Well, I mean, you already have that power. You just described it's part of you. It's coded into your biology, which is, it goes back into quantum computing and Like, think of how many. It's like terabytes. It's like it's like even more than terabytes. It's like how much data is like 1 centimeter of the human brain or something. Hold on, while they kill them, I gotta look this up. How much data does the human brain take up digitally? It's like a portion of it is like a billion. Yeah, it's 2.5 petabytes, which is 10 terabytes. If you know how big those things are, that's a lot of information. The whole internet is like could be stored on a strawberry or whatever, physical size based. Because so like think of a strawberry size portion of your brain taken out, you can have the entirety of the internet stored in your brain cells. Right? So like what you're talking about, it's like that's already biologically proven, and people are like, damn, humans are that fucking smart? That's crazy. So I'm like, I don't doubt humans at all. I'm like, when you find out that our brains are like quantum coded to be better than any computer we've ever made, it's like we're limiting ourselves to our computers. Which is crazy to think, because people think the opposite. They're like, computers are so smart, they can solve everything. I'm like, you can have everything on every computer ever put into your brain, and it wouldn't even affect your mental capacity. You'd still be able to remember shit. You'd literally still be able to function. It's like, that is crazy. Totally based. Praise the sun. Exactly. Go for quantum nap, wake up 3 hours later being a master pianist. You're describing that, what is it? What's that movie with Bradley Cooper where he takes the drug and he's like a fucking super genius? What the hell is that movie? That's how I feel after a mushroom trip, hypothetically speaking. Just saying. It really do be like that. Also, I found something out that I wanted to Google that made me laugh real quick. Hold on. Are we dying? Whoa! He deflected it! You can do that? You can do that? He fucking shot the fireball into the sky that was targeting him. You can redirect fire? Dude, he's Zuko. Oh wait, I'm the Avatar. We need lightning. So, while Japan does have a history with psychedelic mushrooms, it's primarily centered around accidental poisonings rather than ritualistic use. That's some science. No! You gotta be fucking kidding me. Now we take the cheese method up there. No! Alright, dude, God is punishing me for delving too greedily and too deep into the secrets of quantum computing. This is so fucked. That was nonsense. I really find it wild how in a 15-minute nap you can have a dream where you spend hours inside of a... I've had one of those dreams recently. It gave me like an existential crisis where I was like... I like lived a whole life, right? I had a wife kind of thing. Like I lived a whole life in my mind. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I can't believe like we did all of that shit and like so much has happened, right? Like my friends, my family, like you said, a household, like a whole thing. And then I woke up and it was literally like a 30-minute nap or like an hour long. I was like, bro, the day hasn't even passed. Like I like how I set an alarm and it didn't go off earlier. How I was just, it wasn't that nap, but exact same thing happened. When I set an alarm, it didn't go off, and I slept for like an hour, and I was like, oh dude, I just straight up was like existing in a fucking pocket dimension. What the hell was that? That's your brain is just processing insane amounts of data very fast. Yeah, which I feel like a moron half the time. I'm like, really? Damn. No wonder people can like theorize what's gonna happen like years in advance. I was like, dude, I just fucking lived an entire life that was so realistic. I was like, I know my friends way too well because they do that shit in real life. He did it! Yeah, I kept him alive just long enough. Holy shit. I jumped out of his... Falcon! Punch! Actually, he's a Falcon man on my team. The premise is that we utilize only 10% everyday life and limitless wonder drug enabled. Yeah, I remember the movie. I mean, that was disproven as much as I love that theory. It's like the opposite is true. We use 100% of our brains. It's just sometimes we aren't aware of how much we're truly using of our brains. So, don't need that. I'll take that. I will gladly take that. And I gave him a colossal sword in return, which is a weapon he uses, so it's a win-win for everyone. Oh! Wakes up, really, brain? You thought all of that in like 30 minutes? Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like. Like, what the fuck, dude? I think I wanted to sleep for 30 minutes, but I ended up sleeping for like an hour. So the red flame is the black flame. Ow. Though, it made me never doubt my creative process. Like, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, I could just come up with a whole fucking life story. Like, wow. Alright, brain. Good job. Without even trying. I just went to sleep. Literally the least amount of trying you can do. Being completely fucking unconscious. If you were using it all at once, I wonder what would look like. A screaming, heavily rethinking, writing, reading, focusing with eyes. Yeah, that's kind of what it would be like. Also, a seizure, right? It would register in like an MRI as like a seizure. When your brain uses 100% of its capacity with 100% of blood flow going through it like that, you have a seizure, right? That's again with the biological limitations of the human body, right? Our body can't process all of that stimuli going through our brain at once. We die or we explode. It's sad. But that's why I'm like, maybe we'll evolve to that point of using the brain in the way we think we do, but we can use 100% of what we can use of our brain. Because if we use our full brain, we go into like a living coma, right? Where you're having a seizure. So, again, science has kind of deduced all these things. I've wondered as well and looked them up. So people having seizures are actually trying to transcend brain limitation. Yes, and that is actually what happens, right? When you are shown stimuli of like flashing lights, strobing lights, right? Things are happening really fast, like boop, 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 like constantly, and like milliseconds, fucking nanoseconds, right? Because we already know our brain can process at like 60 or like 120 frames at max. So when we're going nanoseconds, like multiple fragments within a second, hundreds of parts within a second, then our brain, right, has a seizure because it's trying to process all of that information as fast as it came to us, right? And then you have a seizure. That's literally what epilepsy is. You're trying to process information that came at you fast, quickly. And so maybe you weren't ready for it, and then you have a seizure. So it's like the opposite end is true, where now we have discovered, to help your theory and make you feel better, not all humans are the same, and some people see frame rates easier. Here, it is a theory, but I'll pull it up again, so I don't seem like a crazy person, and you can look into it yourself. Do some people see in higher FPS? That's what they call it, but it goes back to what we're talking about here. Yes, some individuals may perceive the world with a higher frame rate than others. Most people see around 30 to 60 frames per second, but if you can see the difference between... It's like, when you're trying to show your friends the difference, that's actually what helps people realize it, right? When you can see your hertz, right? Gamers are built different. I'm not even fucking joking. I will explain how and why. But when you change your monitor to be like 60 megahertz instead of 55, and the refresh rate to be 120 instead of 55, you can see the difference, and other people don't. You literally are built different than them. You see higher frame rates because your brain is used to it from gaming. You are literally built different from your upbringing. You are better at seeing frame rates. It's fucking insane to say that, but it's true. Because of your conditioning of playing games for so long, you can now register higher frame rates because that is what required you to survive in the game. Survival is what we base our evolution off of, so it naturally affects our frame rate. It's insane. We just don't work in FPS. Exactly. That's why some people can see higher frame rates, because we're registering it in like actual microseconds on an ionic scale, because we're made up of the universe. So it's not like oh, who knows? It's like we found out why is a better way to say it. I don't think 120 FPS is max at all. I see more on my screen, and more people used to say 30 was max when it was 60, then 75. Exactly. It keeps going up and up, and I think it was true at the time, but as generations get better at it, gaming, right, and registering the information, we literally evolved to see light better, because we are now staring at a fucking monitor, registering the light as fast as we can, processing. I think in a couple of generations we'll have some genius brains that, like, they'll be used to quantum computing, and their brains won't even... I would be not surprised if epilepsy fades from human biology. Like, it just gets so, because of screens and the way we take in visual stimuli, and with frame rate, almost everyone is staring at 60 frames all the time because of their phones. Almost no one will be, like, unable to process light unless they were, like, in an Amish society, but not like Amish people don't have technology, just they intentionally live without they choose to not look at the stimuli, right? So they won't really have it as much. I feel like that would be a thing. No, we are just less stupid, in my opinion. Nobody's saying it, but pre-internet and early internet, we were like stupid as hell. Yeah, I'm like reading the comments and fighting the bosses. It's already dead. That's gaming right there. I can fight a dragon without looking, and I'm literally reading the comments and doing it in real time. That's insane. What the fuck just hit me? I dodged the wind and then I got hit by nothing. I'm gonna call bullshit. I registered the stimuli too fast. That shit wasn't actually passed. I think you're right. I think it's dumbed us down in a different sense. I don't want to be the guy that's like technology bad at dumbed us down, because it's like, think of how much we've developed as a society with technology, right? We're getting better at stuff. We're getting faster at things. It's a different story, but because now we're developing in a tech-centric society where we didn't even have that shit before, rudimentary computers of like mechanisms, which is really how it breaks down to now. Did you really just hit me? Oh, I thought it was the bird guy. I was like, what the fuck? Friendly fire, dude. It's the information age, yeah. And that's why theocratic governments and shit like that are falling to the wayside. Because they want truth. You can't speak truth to power without speaking truth. Everyone wants to speak truth to power. They're going to speak truth. And it is an age of information. In seeking the truth, they will find it. The people that they try to oppress, that's going to be... Not to conspiracy theory, right? Just go off of news articles and what the governments say that they do openly, right? They openly hate knowledge. I know that sounds insane to say, but there are governments that can turn the internet off on all of their people, right? They can just turn the internet off. Why would you ever want to stop the flow of information generally, right? Saying all of my people, all of my citizens are wrong in their search for information, right? Why would you ever want to do that unless you were spouting fucking lies and bullshit? So, it's information age. Before this, you could tell 10 people dragons existed in a country called space spackiness and 3 people would believe you, the rest would grab an encyclopedia. Or one might go journey on their own to find it, and then in their journey begin to doubt. Where they started as a believer, they go like, how could you lie to me, kind of thing, you know? They're like, why would you, I can't believe you've done this. You know that meme? I can't believe you've done this. Like, literally. I'm dead. Harvey Birdman, use your ult. No, he's good. But I'm not going to even criticize, because it's bad to generalize. It's like, you don't need to say one particular government. There are many governments that do this, right? So it's not like oh, I want to be a conspiracy theorist and blame all governments. Because I could go back on it and say, I'm sure there are people in the government who were misguided and are generally trying to do good. And that's fine. And I wish them well, and I hope them the best. But in the corrupt system that's trying to prevent you from outing its corruption, it might be pretty fucking hard to do that. Just saying. Just, you know, it might be you should at least acknowledge maybe the system is broken. Right? He'd probably search far and wide until people amass a following. Yeah, imagine the man who actually walked the earth and can be trusted because he was searching for truth. He didn't go to tell people about the dragons. He looked for the dragons and went, there are no fucking dragons. That guy's going to be the most truth-spouting believer because he was... What is it? The convert is more loyal than someone who was, like, brought up in the religion. Oh, wait, no, I want that. And now we're hopping boats on so many issues. Public utilities, we're given so much leeway before, cops mostly, and now we can just look at a review taken by a dash cam keeping dipshits out of justice. Yeah, their power, right, like, they want to be essentially an authoritarian rule. I won't even accuse them, because again, to generalize is dangerous, and I'm sure there are good apples, right? But then the one bad apple spoils the bunch kind of thing. It is also a generalization, but that is more talking about the nuanced conversation, right? It's like, would you eat an apple pie if one of the apples out of the 3 apples was rotten that we made it with and it tastes like shit? No, you probably wouldn't. So that is kind of the nuance, right? It's like they are the people eating the apple pie that's corrupt is the ones who are oppressed by the system. Not everyone is eating the apple pie, right? You could just look at it and go, that's a beautiful pie, why don't they eat it, right? But the people forced to take a bite of it, right, getting racially profiled, right, getting religiously profiled, or just based on their looks, those people are forced to take a bite of the pie. They're going to be sent into the system, and they have to be a part of it, and react to it, right? So it's like, that's the nuance of the conversation. It's not, oh, I'm generalizing all bad apples, right? It's, no, but what of the people who are forced to take a bite of that fucked up pie, right? That's why we ask you that. It's not to say everyone has to take a bite of the corrupted pie. It's, you aren't even taking a bite of the corrupted pie. Yeah, play stupid games. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you don't even realize, not you guys, obviously. You were talking about it right now, so I know you realize. But it's like, they don't even realize that they're the problem, right? So, of course, they're not going to be able to solve the goddamn problem. They can't admit that they're the problem. And again, with the bad apples and good apples, I don't think the good apples are the problem. But the bad apples are a problem in today's society, right? So that's the nuanced conversation. You want to talk about the bad people, but then you whataboutism the good people. It's like that actually, with an Iron Man argument, is what it's called. If you're looking for an objective truth and not a subjective emotional feeling, then you are trying to find an answer, right? So you're not just going to talk in circles about like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's that. Gotta clear some barrels. Quantum Cortana, show me this man's balls. Exactly, dude. That Paul Rudd. You know that Paul Rudd meme of like the dude, for those who don't know what you're talking about, the Paul Rudd Adult Swim comedy bit that if you watch it, you're gonna be like, this guy's Ant-Man. It is so goddamn funny, but it's almost exactly what happened nowadays. Like, it's actually kind of scary how accurate that shit became. I don't know if we're gonna get this. I've been trying to get lightning on my fucking weapon this whole time to do damage. There we go. Run! No, this fucking game with its lock on. I tried to... That's what the ping was. I tried to turn around and do the grappling hook away, but it pulled me in. Because of the lock on. First down of the entire boss. Cortana, show me this man's balls. Eric Andre. It makes me think though of that bit from Adult Swim. Because they're both on Adult Swim. Something tells me the raider was just going complete aggro. You gotta be fucking kidding me. No, I rolled forward. I don't know. I was robbed. I was robbed. I'm gonna say it. I was doing so good. And then a fucking miss roll. I didn't even mistime that. I'm so upset. God damn it. God, this guy's not really doing his best, is he? Get back here, you motherfucking horseman! God damn it, you ran so far. That was almost perfect. I'm going down. That's the shittiest fucking. That one I screwed him over on that. I picked him up and then the boss stabbed him in the fucking back of the neck while swinging a mid. That's so bad. This guy's got like 9 bars of fucking damage dealt to him. How the fuck did we pick that guy up? I'm gonna be honest. I did not expect that shit. Spamming. Fuck that. Yes, dude! Oh my god! What are you fucking kidding me right now? Oh my god. I'm so good at this game. No, I'm just kidding. It was this bird, man. No, I tried to give him the emote. Dinner time. Gonna catch you later, slime. Thanks for the chat too, Sato. See you around. I think we can call it there. We did the remembrance. We beat both sovereign bosses. We even got the secrets. Right? Holy fuck.
What is it? You can tell me.
We're brother and sister.
What's this? It must be repaired already. That barely took any time at all. Thank you for fetching it. This is a thing of great value to me. A compass that will lead me to someone dear. I suppose you're thinking that earrings normally come in pairs. Oh, forgive me. I've likely talked your ear off. We must prepare.
Talked your ear off. Earrings come in pairs. I've talked your ear off. Get the joke? Your earring is part of the set, so your ear, right, off your ear is a joke about your earring. It's calling attention to your earring with that line of dialogue, because you're both related. That's funny. I like that joke. I get it. Anyway. Damn, that was good. And you know what? Dinner time sounds like a fantastic option. Wilder's journal was updated by the recovered memory fragment. So we got all of these. I'll read this one. Pretty sure we read it already, but we'll keep it going. He dreamt of his home, 2 horses galloping across Windwale Knoll. They were a healthy pair of twins, which was rare. To the Wilder and to the Duchess, the horses were special. Upon a hill they ran abreast. He looked at her, hair dancing in the wind, and saw the earring on her left ear, but he could not recall a face. My Lord Wilder, how are you today? The voice of the Iron Menial awakened him. Time for another errand, no doubt. This is the memory... Nope. Wrong person. Anyway. Different chapter 4. Clutching the now solitary earring, the Wilder drifted off into sleep. The sun was setting on Windwale Knoll, and as if in deference to its name, a gale howled. The dreaded winter was approaching. By the time of the first frost, he knew that his sister would be far along her journey. The Wilder fell silent, and the Duchess's, flashing her signature smile, flicked her earring with her finger. Goodbye for now, dear brother. Once we're done, we'll meet again. He could not remember her name, but he always remembered these parting words. the Wilder continued to fight, never mentioning his younger sister. There was no forward exception to soldier through the war at hand. I have a half-sister, actually. I don't really talk about it. I have a couple. He returned to the round table hold that day to discover a note from the Iron Menial. I've considered what might explain your singular obsession with that earring. Then it came to me. The two of you possess a striking likeness, so much so that I simply cannot deny it. There is something that you must know. Please check the study. And we'll continue the journey of all of the characters next time. I actually kind of made use of one run that I wasted. I didn't need to do the Dark Knight, but I'm glad we did. That was a tough fight. Alright. Like and subscribe or whatever. I'll see you guys later.